Do you ever think that maybe you're addicted to your phone?
What do you mean?
I just mean like you're on it a lot. I don't know.
Picks up my phone for the first time all day. You know, man, I don't know. It's kind of approaching an addiction.
Have you ever thought of like getting it checked?
I don't like where this is headed for you.
A length chart in 3, 2, 1.
Brett Favre really has a 9-inch Johnson. That's what it says in there.
It's crazy.
That's incredible. John David Booty.
I'm sinking out of here in 3, 2, 1. And on Resume Gammy in 3, 2, 1.
Just about ready for the second half.
Well, Tom, we are just about ready to play some football here. Oh, and he's making us wait. Oh, he didn't do anything.
So now that is the worst kickoff I've ever seen in my life.
It was great.
It went 4 yards.
Curtis paid us for that.
Get us out of here.
We are doing Madden, is this 9?
This is 09.
Madden 09. Inferior to Madden 07 in every way, I hear.
There's no question about it. But this one has Brett Favre on the cover.
Brett Favre.
When he was retiring and not retiring, there was a moment where he went to the Jets in the middle of this.
Kenny and the Jets.
So then they made a alternate cover with him on the Jets. So you can find that expensive cover on eBay for like $60.
I don't have that one.
Well,
I just have the other one.
The standard one. I believe it's a PS3 cover.
Was there ever one where he was on the Vikings and on the cover?
No. That would have been great.
They should go back and do that for us specifically, and no one else.
And no one else ever.
No one else cares.
That's what we could use.
So we're doing Madden moments. I don't know. Are these from 2009?
They might be from the previous year, actually. Well, I guess I don't know.
So, I mean, this is just a short mode where you are given scenarios and you do stuff. Maybe we'll come back. Is there a career mode in Madden games?
Usually, yes. I believe there should be a pro in this one, but maybe not. I don't know.
So we might come back to that in the future, but this was just a small thing to do as like a, I don't know, change of pace for us, you know? Finns get a win, which doesn't rhyme.
But we'll get right into it here.
Mile High Miracle, it's actually really upsetting that actually, if you check, it says September 11th, 2001. And it's actually like a scenario written by John Madden. He's like, if I was there, here's how I would have stopped it. And basically you just play the Mile High Club mission from COD, but it has John Madden. It's pretty messed up, but it's cool. You wouldn't see that kind of ballsy thing from a sports game now, is what I'm saying.
No, it's true. We're in a totally different era now. It was interesting because after the game came out, the developers were like, we tried to tell John, we can't put this in the video game. He's like, my name's on the cover, you stupid bastards. And they put it in. So that's
great.
That's exactly how the conversation went.
Did you know the Dolphins barely avoided making history by becoming only the second team in NFL history to not win a game in a season? They stunned the Ravens in overtime to win their first game of the year. Only a touchdown completes this moment.
I didn't know that. Did you, off the top of your head, you knew that? That's really cool.
I like my eyes roll into the back of my head and like you hear like searching, found, obscure football fact no one cares about.
This guy's unbelievable.
The Dolphins and the Chiefs, they gotta change that name.
The Chiefs?
Yeah, because they already changed the Redskins. The Chiefs has got to go next. Have you heard, like, I saw this really ridiculous article. It was like, it was basically like why I chose to take chief out of my CEO position.
So what is it, just operating?
Like, instead of chief executive officer, it was just executive officer or something, and they were like, because we stole it from the Native Americans, that's why.
We stole chief from the Native Americans?
Yeah, because that was a title they had.
Oh.
I need to turn this down slightly for us. It's like very loud, isn't it?
We are at the game currently. Okay, we're gonna do the tight end drag.
Was there any scandals going on in 2009 that you know about that would be interesting to talk about?
There was Bountygate. That's when our boys, the Minnesota Vikings, went to the NFC Championship game, and there was a bounty by the defensive coordinator to, this is a bad throw. Oh, it got through. There was a bounty put on where if you hurt Brett Favre, you make this much money.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that was
I remember
the whole
that.
thing. And it ended up getting a lot of guys suspended. I think the coach got suspended for a year. A bunch of other players got like 10, 12 games they got suspended for.
I don't understand why they would just do that. Like, why not fire?
Yeah. I think the Saints won the Super Bowl that year too. So like they ended up the Vikings had a phenomenal team that year, and then they ended up losing because Favre. I mean, he just got destroyed all game long. They were pretty gnarly.
Was he like really injured after?
Yeah, he was in really bad shape. Like his knees were tough. He was never the same. He came back the next year. We were probably one of the best teams in the NFL that year, and And then the following year, we didn't even make the playoffs. We won 5 games. Really bad.
So I don't get why. This is the thing I hate in sports. I'm trying to be funny here, in this Let's Play, but this actually makes me mad. Because there's this thing in sports where they constantly give people like a fucking slap on the wrist. Like, look at what's going on with Deshaun right now.
Yeah.
And like, you have so many people.
We win.
Nice,
We've done
good
it.
job. You have so many people, and maybe it's fake, you know what I mean? Maybe it's made up. But you have all this stuff, always nice. You just became God. You're like, I will become one with this man in the crowd.
The fans honestly don't look that much worse than they do in Madden 23, just so you know.
I'm glad they're advertising blue cheese up there. But
that is very
I don't know, maybe the whole Deshaun Watson thing is false. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, let's just say for the sake of the argument that it is real.
We already won.
And there was unequivocal proof that, go ahead and resume game, though.
Didn't we already win?
Well, I don't know, just click resume game and see what happens. I think it has to hit an end thing.
No, I swear I just beat this. Here, let me see if I quit. It should register that we did it.
Really?
Right?
You can quit. You'll
Let's
just have to do it again if it doesn't, but that's not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Yeah.
No, so like, let's just say that someone came out with like irrefutable proof that it happened. Mm-hmm. Unless someone got it like on camera, they would do nothing. That's what it genuinely feels like.
It did count. Nice.
You did get it. So
Yeah,
now you have to do the John Madden airplane hijack thing.
I'm really excited about that one. Very unique feature here.
Packers versus Broncos. The Packers and the Broncos are tied at 13 in overtime. The Packers started at their 18-yard line and drove 82 yards in a car to win the game. Bullshit, but was not against the rules at the time. Control the Packers and drive for the winning touchdown.
An unbelievable time, really. Do you want to play this one?
No.
All right.
This is you.
All right.
I don't know how to play this at all.
No, the Deshaun Watson thing is interesting. I don't know if you heard about this. So he initially got suspended for 6 games, and everyone was furious. They're like, this isn't enough.
Right.
So then the NFL came back, and I don't know if it's considered like a suit, like they sued him or they appealed the decision from a judge, and then it got increased to 11. 24 of these things, and he got suspended for 11 games, and there were no fines. He still got his contract is fully guaranteed of $230 million that he just signed. All
they care about is money.
They
That's
do.
it, in all these sports. That's all they care about. That morality clause, we've talked about it. It goes out the window if you're good enough.
Oh yeah, well it's interesting, and I think what's interesting to me and kind of tricky is like it's a place of. It happened obviously outside of the employment that he's technically at his job. So it gets kind of weird and tricky for me. Like I get it, you want to punish him, set a precedent. This is hurting the brand. You don't want these guys representing your company, if you will. But I feel like it gets a little bit weird when it's like a personal thing almost. You know what I mean? Like it didn't happen on the field or anything. It wasn't like Bountygate where like suspending a coach for a year makes sense.
To me, that's worse. I think that all those people should have been fired.
Yes.
For Bountygate. Like I'm saying, like banned. Like you don't play it.
You're not allowed to play it. Yeah.
That's what I would think. But the problem is they never do stuff like that. With off of the field or off the court or whatever. Yeah, I agree with you. Here's my problem with it. If we have to live by these standards, they should have to.
Yeah.
So like if you work for a company, which you've done so many times, and you tweeted online like, man, I hate Jewish people. I don't know. I just made something up because so many people are anti-Semitic.
Something random. I don't know.
Something I've never tweeted before. I don't know. Don't look it up. No. Like because so many people like have that kind of attitude. If you tweeted that kind of thing, it's like you would be fired if they found that.
Yeah.
So how come when these guys do shit off of their employment, they get slaps on the wrist? Half the time they do stuff in their employment and they get a slap on the wrist. Like that thing with Favre. One, he should be able to sue them and everyone involved.
Oh, for sure.
Because
they messed him up.
That was purposeful bodily injury. That's not part of the sport.
Correct.
Like, it's not the goal. Like, MMA, I could see, like, it would be pretty pussy move if you were, like, I don't know, Conor McGregor, and somebody went for your knee, so you sued him and said, like, he tried to cripple my knee.
Right.
Well, that's part of the sport.
Exactly.
And you sign away a lot of that stuff. But
that old man had no right to sue, by the way.
Yeah, the old man got her beat up, yeah. No, That I still think that story is so funny. You got so mad.
He was only like 49 years old or something. Like this decrepit old guy who has dementia and hasn't walked in years. Connor went up and slapped him on the back of the head.
He was just trying to enjoy Connor's drink, and Connor came up and he's like, "Bloody piss! I bet I fuck you, babe, mate. 1, 2, right in the back of the cooch, you say?" And the guy's like, "No, Connor, please, I'm your biggest fan. Now you're going to be my biggest paralyzed fan." He wasn't very clever. He was really high.
It could be my biggest paralyzed. It's like, Connor, that's not your best work.
You better not believe in Islam. He'll just start taking shots at Allah again or something. Wasn't Khabib like not a hardcore Muslim too? He was like a pretty... I don't know if he was a nice guy. I have no idea. Maybe he's a dick. I have no clue.
He just dropped it.
But wasn't Khabib like a moderate Muslim? Like not like... He wasn't like an extremist or something.
I
don't think he was like out there like, man, I believe in terrorism or something
no,
insane.
I don't think he
like,
did that.
He's not like an extreme guy. He was just like, yeah, I believe in Allah. I believe in the Prophet Muhammad and the Quran and blah, blah, blah. And that was it.
Yeah.
And then McGregor's thing was like, yeah, and by the way, Islam sucks. It was such a bad burn because it was like, why? There's so many things you could go for here.
By the way, side note, you can find little patches where you can do celebrations. Apparently there's none in this mode, but you have to find a blue square to do a certain celebration.
You just did a celebration. Look, you did yeah. Look, and then you did the Sieg Heil.
That's pretty
sick. Weird, but
very epic. Green Bay.
Not the guy I'd expect to do it either.
So the thing with that, so that moment really was after the Mayweather fight, where Conor kind of changed and went weird. He comes back and fights Khabib, and he even admitted after the fight, by the way, he's like, I was drunk for that entire camp. And he would go on like a bender, be gone for 3 days and come back and train. And like that was what he was doing. So like he was drunk at those press conferences, and his trash talking compared to what he would normally do was really bad. Like it was just
he opened his own alcohol company around that time, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he fell into alcohol.
And then he loved it. Yeah, and he got like what was frustrating is like he went from like this confident, kind of funny, just like obviously cocky, but like it was much more of a funny vibe in the previous ones. This was much more like anger and like
I also don't think he was trying to hurt anyone's feelings. He was just trying to sell the show.
I think he was trying to sell the fight, but like just as far as like his trash talk at that time, it really regressed substantially.
It really regressed in the recent thing with Poirier.
Yeah. Especially when he went from nice guy Conor to, I mean, your wife was in me DMs. Like that's a much.
Do you think that actually happened? By the way,
it might have. I don't know. He says like a lot of stuff now.
Even if it did, wouldn't that not be something to brag about?
Probably not, right? Because he's married with kids, so it's like.
Doesn't he care about his family? Because I thought he said he loved his kids.
Well, he does, yeah.
So that wouldn't be something to brag about. I don't know what his relationship is with his wife. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad.
They've been together since the beginning.
Okay, then it's probably good.
Yeah.
So that doesn't seem like something to brag about. The Broncos called a strategic timeout in overtime, causing Oakland to miss their field goal attempt. The Broncos didn't miss their chance and win the game. Huh. Whoever wrote this was not doing very good English. Control the Broncos. And do what?
And drive for the game winner.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. That seems like not something to brag about. But what I was getting at with all of this is all this stuff, cool if McGregor his life is back on track 100%, which I believed it was, and then the Poirier thing happened. I'm kind of like, I don't know now what's going on with this guy. Also, I think his fighting's a little washed up compared to what it was years ago.
If you watch the style comparisons from what it was, he was a lot more fluid, moving, bouncing
Now he just kicks with the one leg.
Well, he just stands like he's boxing, and so people just abuse him. Now, Poirier just kicked his legs off for a while there. It was really bad.
And then he acted like, oh yeah, well, if you didn't kick my leg...
It's like, well, that's part of the game, pal.
Yeah.
So,
you got destroyed.
We got
lost.
Buried. There's...
That's sad. John Madden's going to come out and kick you in the balls.
Come on.
Oh, what is this? It's John Madden in a steel-toed boot coming to castrate the player. That's some insane moves, Tom, but I gotta be honest, for a 95-year-old man in an iron lung, it's pretty crazy he can still do that. I don't know how old he was here, but he was pretty old.
He was pretty old, there's no doubt.
He was a hologram in the intro.
Dude, and this is what's kind of cool about this game. And so they have, like, you'll see, I don't know if they'll do it in these Madden moments, but they have this feature called Rewind, where you get one rewind a game.
It's rewind time.
And like so if a play goes bad or like it's not like things aren't going well. Oh, that's a bad throw. Oh, we caught it. So if things go bad or like a play doesn't go the way you want, you can use that rewind, which is kind of like a mulligan at any point in the game. So you'd be like, "Oh, I didn't like that interception." Rewind.
You only get one,
and you get one, and then you can go back and do the play over, which was kind of a cool feature that's definitely not in the games now. And then there's also this thing called like backtrack replay, where the analyst, like a play will happen, he'll be like, well, let's go back and take another look at that play. They'll use that exact same play, it'll be like an instant replay, but then the commentator will use like arrows and like talk about the play and what went right and what went wrong, which is not at all in the presentation of the new games, which is incredibly frustrating because it doesn't feel like it'd be that hard to do.
So you're saying like the AI on the commentators was probably better here.
It's significant. They've got Chris Collinsworth, who is who's like the prime time one of the top guys as far as even today still. That's the guy who's talking right now.
If you go back, do they have John Madden talking in some of these games?
They do. They even have him in this, actually. So, like,
really?
If you're doing certain plays that he doesn't... What I noticed when I was playing a little before he came back is, so I was playing a little bit, and then I wasn't really using the flats at all. I wasn't using the running back. So he's like, tell you what, man, I'd recommend throwing out the flats and using your running backs as a safety down, and he'll tell you and give you tips, kind of, which is super cool.
Is he in any of the newer games?
Because
they put him on the cover. That one's terrible, right? 23.
It's getting so. What's so frustrating about that one? Not to get into a whole thing, but nothing really changes with it, and it's so glitchy. It's a broken game in a lot of ways, and they haven't changed much at all. And the reviewers, a lot of the reviewers like IGN will be like, it's a step in the right direction, but people have pointed out like those reviews have said a step in the right direction for the past, I think it's like 8 years. All of them say that, but they never actually get to, we've arrived. This is the ultimate Madden experience. It hasn't been like that. And they like take out features and then say, all right, well now this year we're adding that feature back in, but changing it with a different name. So like this year they added something called Field Sense, which is where you can kind of aim your throws. That was something that was added back in 2018, where you can aim your passes a little bit more specifically.
Do you think that there is a best Madden off the top of your head? I know you said 10 might be up there. You had said 10 was really good.
It's hard. I really like 07 still. I mean, I've played some really, like, there's some decent ones. Like, I liked 13. I think that's the one with Larry Fitzgerald and Troy Polamalu, and there's some other fun ones. But 07's a classic, man. Doesn't it have the combine where you can do like push-ups and stuff?
Yeah, it's got you can do training with bench presses, and you can go to camps and do training there. The what are they called now? Washington football team?
The Commanders.
Oh, they're called the Commanders.
Or the Commies for short.
Okay, the Commies were up by 11 points against an ineffective Bills team, Latte, that's weird, in the third quarter. The Bills woke up. That's weird, and scored 12 points in the fourth quarter to come back and beat off Washington. Play as the Commies and hold off the Bills. This is really weird. So they were sleeping while they played, they jerked off Washington, and then they just named themselves after Bill Clinton? Alright, whatever.
The NFL's been really going through a lot of changes recently.
It's just odd. Man, so why do we keep the Chiefs and not the Redskins?
That's a great point. The Chiefs, I think, is... it's interesting to me because I think it falls into the same line as like the Cleveland Indians now being the Guardians. Like the Indians and Chiefs, I feel like isn't that different.
They should have changed it and gone all in. So what they should have done instead of the Cleveland Indians is the Cleveland Indians, and they pretend to be Indian, like from India.
Yeah. I think that could
and maybe
worked.
they go in on every Indian stereotype. Like perhaps they all wear a headset and they answer tech calls, like tech support calls, while they're playing, and they have to like speak in a fake accent.
So like it's not even like Native Americans. It's just like
India, from India. They're like, oh, you think this is offensive? Okay, well, how about this? Check it out. And they just become the Cleveland Indians.
And they're like talking about CRMs and stuff like that the whole time.
And they're like, no, I don't think I should do the accent. But basically,
it would be pretty edgy to do the accent.
Basically, they're like, now I'm going to need to take remote control of your computer. And you see like them talking about these things while they're out on the field. They've got a laptop hooked up to them on their left hand. They can only use their right.
Honestly, I think that would be really impactful and do a lot for the game.
I want Brazil to get a team where they just scream, come to Brazil, while they're on the field the whole time. Come to Brazil! Remember when every Instagram post would have that under it? It would be like some singer or whatever or band. It'd be come to Brazil.
No, dude, I'm not even on Instagram.
It was forever. You know what? Instagram's not bad. The Instagram community is not bad. That might be the least toxic one.
Really?
That's the one you're not on.
Really? Instagram is?
Yeah, the only thing is, I would assume as a guy with a wife who probably does care, because to be fair, my wife is also into women.
Of course.
As a guy with a wife who does care, it might be a little weird, though, because, 90% of the website is just chicks posting half naked.
Oh, really?
So that might be a little odd for you.
Sure, okay. But compared to, if you were to compare it to Twitter, for example, how would you compare it?
What'd you say, Joe?
It's your video.
Oh, I was playing your video. I didn't realize I was playing Jill's video out loud. I'm sorry. What'd you say, though?
Oh, so how would you compare Twitter and Instagram, then? Because you're on Twitter as well, obviously.
Twitter is way more toxic. Twitter sucks. It's literally 80% unemployed, hard left people who can't leave the basement of their house and constantly tweet about things that even the people who vote the same way as them don't agree with. And then sit in a little echo chamber and scream at each other and then cannibalize each other if one of them moves slightly out of line. You know what I mean by that?
Yes.
If one of them moves slightly non-extreme, they all jump them. That's what Twitter is, in my opinion.
Do you, do you find that it actually benefits you to be on it for your channel? Or do you think it's not that helpful?
I think it's good to sometimes reach people and just get things out there, but I don't actually use it as much as you think I do.
Really?
I go on it, I look at pictures of e-girls and stuff.
Yes, okay.
I'll leave a couple likes here and there. I'll retweet a couple of video game announcements or use it to screenshot video game announcements and stuff or leaks that I use in my videos, and that's it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I occasionally send DMs to people who are subbed, and I occasionally will answer tweets to me, but I don't get many. So
Okay.
I'm not on it as much as you think I am.
But stay active enough to where it's a presence.
Yeah, but
Ooh!
this game is super loud.
Dude, we got a big pick there.
My friend,
Nice pick.
My friend Alex, Podcast Now,
Yes.
who I make videos with and stuff a lot of times, he's on it way more than me. I don't know how he deals with it. Because he'll constantly be tweeting about stuff, but his Twitter grows, and he does get people who find his channel through it.
Oh, really? He does? Okay.
But he's willing to put more effort into it than I am. I'll fully admit, I'm not willing to put the effort into Twitter that he does. Just to me, it's not worth my time to me because it stresses me out, you know what I mean?
That's what I wondered, if it's...
I'd rather get 100 less people a month.
He fumbled? Our guy fumbled?
And not be angry all the time, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. That's kind of what I wondered too, is that it's... At the end of the day, yeah, I think you can get some people from it, and if you can deal with it and just kind of, I guess, put up a wall for the people that are nuts on there, great. But I feel like that's pretty tough to do, you know?
I will say to that, by the way, was that a problem? Do we want to just restart this?
No, we're good. We're still winning. We just have
Okay.
to hold them off.
So...
And then probably beat them off at some point, but that's...
Good, like Washington.
No, they're here. No,
Washington.
Yeah.
The thing with Twitter is there are really good people on it. There are some very fun people. I will say a lot of them are 14 to 18-year-olds who just tweet about comic books or enjoying video games and stuff like that. They're just
Really?
nice kids.
Okay, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of them. There's also just a lot of douchebag millennials who haven't had a good job in years and they want to make everyone else suffer with them. And then there's a bunch of very entitled people who believe hardcore in socialism to the point where they are tweeting from their capitalistic device. So I don't know. There's just a lot of weirdos on the site, to be honest, that are very
I think that's very charming, actually. I don't understand what your problem is.
very angry all the time, I think would be the way to describe it. It's a bit odd. I do think that it skews people's views of the world, though, to spend too much time there. I think a lot of people think well, if people agree with me on Twitter, I have good takes.
Right.
And it's no.
That's not...
No. And if you hear all these people who talk about Twitter, the biggest internet celebrities, they all hate it. If you want to call them that. The biggest content creators hate Twitter.
Yeah.
They all hate it. They'll, do something once in a while there to draw attention to something they did. Sometimes they'll do nothing there. Guys like PewDiePie just ditched. They just left it. They didn't need it.
Wow.
He just quit. He was I'm not doing it anymore. He has an account, but he doesn't use it. You know, like a lot of people just, they don't like the vibe, they don't like the group.